Okay, a couple of little detours there. This is roughly where we left our HTML divisions page. I've just added a couple of things like some background color to these three bits in the center so we can see what's going on. But this is what the page structure looks like. These are the files that we've got in our File Explorer. We've got the little graphic at the top, which is the logo of the frog. We've got the home page working on the style, the style sheet here. So we don't really need to see the File Explorer anymore. Let me just make these a bit bigger so you can see what's going on. Oh, grab that. There we are. Make that about the same sort of size. And let's just recap on the HTML, the structure. Remember, the way you do web design is you keep structure separate from styling. So your HTML has all your structure in it, and your style sheet has all your colors and so forth. So the structure of this is we've got the body of the page, which we put a content section in the body of the page, so we can move that into the center of the body. So there's a margin on left and right here, and then we've got a top bar, which is we're going to put a little frog logo, and maybe we can have a login thing on the right there. We've got a main block which consists of the left bit, the right bit, and the center bit, but they're not left, right, and center. They're just piled one on top of the other at the moment. That's what we're about to fix. We've got a left bit, a right bit, a center bit, and then we've got a footer down the bottom, which is this green bit down here. So the left bit, I put a little bit of text in there that just says this is the left column. Right bit the same. Center bit, I added a bit more text to this just so you can see what's going on. And this is a design tool, a design technique that most HTML folk will eventually come across. They call this lorem ipsum text here. So you see, it just says there lorem ipsum, that thing there. And it's basically a load of Latin gobbledygook, or I don't know, actually, probably may mean something if you speak Latin. But it's basically a bunch of text whereby you're not really bothered what the text is, it just helps fill the page. And there are sites that will generate this lorem ipsum stuff for you, so you can cut and paste it straight into there. Just see how your text is developing. If you go to, I don't know, lipsum.com, lipsum.com, it'll generate as much of this lorem ipsum text as you like. So I've just taken a little bit of text I typed there, and then I just cut and pasted a bunch of this lorem ipsum text at the end of it, just to give us a bit of a filler, so you can see as the page is taking shape. And that's it. That's all that we need for the home page. So let's go over onto the style sheet and have a look here. We've got the body tag here, which we made. I made it a width of 400. You probably want to make yours a width of 1000 or something like that. We've said center it and put the margins left and right onto auto. And if you remember when we did that, everything then was text align center, which is not quite what we want. So then the next thing we do is grab the content in the middle of the body and then switch that back to text align center. And then we got top bar, which is the top bar here with the frog. We've got the main block, which contains left, right, and center, with the left bit, right bit, the center bit, and then we've got the footer at the bottom. I've given the left bit, right bit, and center bit a background color. I made that pink, that one Alice blue, this one, the center bit I made khaki, and I gave the footer a background color as well, just so you could see what was going on as we now start to shift these blocks around. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the left bit and I'm going to give it two settings. I'm going to float it left and left, and I'm going to give it a width of let's say 20%, so it'll take 20% of the window. Right bit I'm going to float right, and I'm going to give that a width also make that 20%. And then the center bit, what I want to do is, so the left bit will float over to the left over here, right bit over there. Well, in fact, let's just control this. Let's just have a look and see what that does here. F5. Okay, so the left bit's gone over there, wanted. Right bit's over there. Center bit is sort of like in the center here, but then it's spilled out all over the place, which is not quite what we wanted. So what we're going to do is we're going to float the center bit up against the left bit as well, and then give it a specific width, so it won't do all of this weird stuff down here. So we're going to do float left and make it a width. Now your maths would sort of think, well, the left bit's 20%, right bit's 20%, that's 40% in total. If I make that 60%, that should work. Well, it won't quite work. If I control S, that won't quite work. Let me just show you what happens here. It doesn't quite work. It sort of floats left, but it floats underneath this left-hand column because that 60% actually doesn't take into account that each of these bits has got a border and margin and a padding and all this sort of stuff. Actually, let's just fix the footer. You notice the footer's popped all the way to up here, so we're just going to do a simple click fix for the footer, which is that'll just clear both left and right floats. Control S. Let's just F5 that. So that's sorted out. And let me just fix one other thing before I go back to the centre bit. If you notice, the main box has sort of gone up here because it doesn't think there's anything in there. So the way you do this is you go to margin and you do it, check the overflow. You can Google all the reasons why you do that, but I press F5. Okay, so the main block is now around left and right and centre. Okay, so let's go back to this centre bit here. And it's basically that's 20%, that's 20%, that's 60%, but that assumes that all these other things are not taken into account. So the centre bit, we're going to have to close that down a bit. Let's try, and I normally do this just by eye. Try 50%, Control S, hit F5, not quite. Try 45%, Control S, F5. And that doesn't quite work, so let's try 40%, Control S, F5, and there we are. That's in the centre, and that's broadly speaking how you can set these things up. There are more scientific ways of doing this. Depends how precise you want to be, but that's how you would make a sort of a layout of a web page with the top bit. Your main bit's got a left, middle, and right column, and then a bottom bit down here. That's broadly it. Let me just show you. If we were to actually set all of your borders and margin and padding to 0, you could actually make it 20, 20, and 60. This would work. If I take the main block and set that to 0, that to 0, that to 0, that to 0. Just bear with me, take me a minute to do this, but I just want to convince you it will work. 0, 0, 0, and the centre bit 0, 0, 0. Control S that, go over here, F5 that. Now if I go back to the centre bit and if I make that 60%, it will slot in exactly between the left and right bit, like that. Okay, but you've now lost the borders and margins, so your borders, margins and padding. So it's a trade-off between the two, your borders, margins and paddings, and then the total width, and that all comes down to the design stuff. And remember, design stuff is done in style sheets. You don't design in here. This in the HTML. HTML is structure, style sheets is styling. Have a go at that, see how you get on.